Chico is a small town nestled between Redding and Sacramento. Most people think of Chico as a small pothead drinking party town with a college. Chico is known for its large Bidwell Park, as well as many successful businesses such as Sierra Nevada Beer Company. We moved to Chico just a few short years ago. My wife and I started a small business here that I run, and my wife works for the remaining Paradise Hospital Clinic. We've never been anything out of the ordinary. Met in college, got married, and we have a beautiful 4-year-old daughter that we spoil to death. I'd consider myself an ordinary guy. I love to tinker with things in my garage, watch a bit of football, and enjoy a cold beer with my buddies. One of my favorite things to do more than anything is ride the Bidwell Park Trail on my bike. It gives me a moment away from the hustle and bustle of running a business. Recently, the trails have been getting more and more of a struggle between the city and the homeless. The trail has become a series of bad smells, garbage, and tents at times. Recently, I've begun to resent the homeless in the area, becoming somewhat of a Scrooge when it comes to giving them things that they beg for. Most of the time, they don't ask me for food or water. Instead, they ask for money. Knowing the drug problems that homeless people have, I stopped giving them cash. Winter really cuts down on the amount of homeless that reside in Chico. It also brings an unbridled beauty to the parks with soft yellows and oranges everywhere. The fall also is perfect. Clean, clear air, and the temperature is amazing for riding the bike. Like I was saying before, I'm normal, as normal can be. But the proceedings that fell upon me one night on Bidwell Trail was anything but normal. It was mid-November, the leaves on the trees began to fall, and there was a nice break in the rain, so I decided to take my bike out that evening. Normally, because of the homeless, I'd never consider going to Bidwell at dusk, but I had nothing better to do. Kid was asleep. Wife was watching her Netflix shows, and I had nowhere to be. So I jumped on the bike and headed to Upper Park. The cold, clean air felt amazing on my back and shoulders after sitting at work inside all day. I always took the Upper Park Trail, but I had an itch to go through the 1-mile trail. By this time it was dark. Luckily, my bike had a very good light on the front, allowing me to see virtually everything within about a 50-yard distance. I turned into the large iron fence at 1 mile. There wasn't a car in sight. None of the houses were lit up in the area. The place was dead. The leaves had fallen recently, so all you could hear was the cracking and snapping of dry leaves under the bike tires. I rode my bike through the parking lot, heading towards the large swimming area. That's when I heard a faint gurgling sound. Then immediately following was splashing and struggling sounds coming from the pool. I jerked the front fork of my bike in the direction of the noise, shining my bike's light over the water to see what all the commotion was coming from. It was a homeless woman that looked like she had fallen into the pool. I rushed over to the edge of the pool and had very little trouble pulling her up over the edge. "Are you all right?" I asked. She was wearing a torn-up white dress, filthy and ripped up. She answered me, but I could barely understand her. She had a strange way of speaking, maybe some sort of impediment. She said, "You are a good man." A good man, while gently holding my hand. I reached down into my pocket to grab my phone. I was going to call an ambulance to make sure she was okay when I realized my phone was in my bike pocket. I took off my sweater and wrapped it around her for warmth. I stumbled over to my bike to grab my phone out of my bike's pouch pocket, but when I turned around, the woman was gone, my sweater lying on the ground. I shined my bike's flashlight around. "Lady, where are you, lady?" Making sure she didn't just fall back into the water. I shined my flashlight into the water. No trace of her. She had vanished. I called my wife. She told me that homeless people get high on drugs and fall into the pool from time to time, and that I was a hero for saving her. I told her that the woman took off. She told me she wasn't surprised. Most homeless people don't want to get checked out by an ambulance because they are high on drugs. Something was so odd about the whole thing. Most homeless have some sort of belongings bags, shopping carts, or camping equipment. I told my wife I was coming home, jumped on my bike, and rode back to the house. I told myself I wasn't going to ride around Bidwell at night anytime soon. A few days had gone by. Everything was absolutely normal, as normal could be. It was a Friday night when my daughter busted into my wife and I's bedroom. "Dad," she said as she scurried over to our bed in the dark and grabbed a hold of my hand. She told me she needed to go to the kitchen. "Go back to bed, sweetie," I grumbled. She kept just yanking my arm. "Come on, Daddy, we need to go to the kitchen." I figured she wanted some water. Stumbling to the kitchen, I found a burning outlet on fire right by our sink. Jerking fully awake, I grabbed a damp rag and put the fire out. Luckily, it only spread to our roll of paper towels. My wife and I were cleaning up the kitchen. I sat my daughter down and asked why she wanted to go to the kitchen so bad. She told me the wet lady in the white dress came to her window and told her to.